Welcome to Guitar String Theory. My name is Mauro and today we're going to learn all about guitar strumming. Strumming is one of the most important things to grasp if you're a beginner. You need both the chords and the strumming technique in order to get a song right. So in this lesson we're going to talk about the mechanics of strumming and how to practice it. Let's get into it. Okay, the first thing we need to understand is the concept of beat and bar. Most songs and musical compositions have a beat and bars that group 4 of those beats together. Now, the beat is just a musical accent that occurs at regular intervals in the musical ideas. That regular interval is also known as the tempo of the song. And the rhythmic values of every note that we play are all related to the tempo of the song. They are relative to it. So let's have a look at the most common rhythmic values that you will encounter as a beginner guitar player.
A whole note valued at 4 beats. A half note valued at 2 beats, a quarter note valued at 1 beat, and an eighth note valued at half a beat.
Okay, so the notation that you just saw on screen is how we notate the strumming on the guitar. This type of notation is also known as slashes. There is also rests. Rests are places where we won't be strumming the guitar and that should be silent. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will not concentrate on muting the guitar. When we find a rest, we will just focus on not playing. Okay, so strumming is performed by moving your hand up and down 2 or more strings, depending on the chord you're playing. In this tutorial we're going to use an E major chord, but I encourage you to use any chord that might be difficult for you to practice this exercise. Strumming is performed from the arm and not from the hand. This is very important. You should keep your wrist and your hand relaxed at all times and let your elbow do the work. This will result in a better strumming experience. It will groove more. If you strum from the hand, you risk sounding stuck or dull. The idea behind strumming is that we are constantly moving our arm up and down in eighth notes. So it doesn't matter what note values we encounter, we just keep moving our arm, and then we selectively strum on the downward motion or on the upward motion, depending on the notes, to match the song or the exercise. This will help us stay locked in the beat and will ensure our strumming is accurate. In this first exercise, we're going to strum quarter notes and quarter note rests. Now, all quarter notes should be strummed downwards. You'll notice at the end of the exercise there are 2 bars filled with quarter note rests. These 2 bars are there to help you change the chord and start over if you're a beginner. You will need those 2 bars to change the chord. Try to use the most challenging chords for this exercise, and you'll be practicing strumming and chords at the same time. Here's the example. In this exercise, we're going to strum eighth notes, quarter notes, and quarter note rests. Quarter notes, once again, should be strummed downwards, and eighth notes should be strummed down-up and never up-down. Again, there are bars filled with quarter note rests in this exercise. Try to change to a chord that's difficult for you. Here's the example. In this next exercise, we're going to strum in eighth notes, but we'll be adding the eighth note rest. Eighth note rests are tricky. If you have an eighth note followed by an eighth note rest, you have a downward strum and then an upward motion without the strum. For the purposes of this tutorial, this is the same thing as a quarter note. But if you reverse that and you have an eighth note rest followed by an eighth note, you have a downward motion without a strum and an upward motion with a strum. This is also known as syncopation, and it's one of the hardest things to grasp as a beginner guitar player. Make sure you practice this next exercise a lot to get your strumming to the next level. Here's the example. Okay, now let's apply this in a real musical scenario. We're going to play a song, in this case by Pearl Jam, and we're going to use the actual strumming from that song and the actual chords. So the strumming is as follows. And the chords are G major, E minor, C major, and D major. Here's the example. Okay, we've learned the basics of strumming. Don't forget to download the PDF that is right below this lesson with all the exercises and the song that we just played. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them on the forums. I'll be happy to help you out. Okay, thanks. Till next time.